So what you're going to need is 2 different colors of yarn. This time I'm choosing to do a variegated with a solid, but if you want to use one color of yarn, that's fine. It's totally up to you. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this variegated yarn. So I'm going to take my 5 3/4 millimeter hook, and I'm just going to start by making a slip knot. Okay, pull it tight, and then we're going to chain 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so then we want to take and chain 1, and that is going to be our turning chain. So in the second chain from the hook, you want to single crochet once and then single crochet in each of the chains after that. You should have a total of 12 single crochets. So now that we have done that, we want to take and chain 1, and I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit. Okay, so we already chained 1, so now we want to single crochet 1 time into that first stitch. Now this is really where the fun part of the pattern begins. So we are going to skip 2 stitches, and then we are going to create a shell or double crochet 5 times into that third stitch there. So now that you have those 5 double crochets in there, you're going to skip 2 stitches again, and you're going to single crochet into that third stitch. Skip 2 more stitches, and we're going to create another shell or 5 double crochets in that one stitch. Then we want to take and single crochet into that last stitch. So before you finish that last stitch, you want to go ahead and take and change your yarn color. So I'm swapping that yarn out for my solid mint. So, and again, you can use whatever technique you like. This is the one that I prefer because I absolutely hate sewing in ends. But for some people, I know it can be very therapeutic. So, you know, it's all up to your preference. Okay. So now you want to finish that last double crochet there, and then you want to chain 3. And this is a turning chain. Okay, and then you want to skip that first stitch because this chain 3 also counts as a double crochet. So you want to double crochet into the second stitch. Then you want to half double crochet in the next stitch and single crochet into that third stitch. So now we are going to skip those 2 spaces and we are going to create a shell right in the middle of the previous shells. So what this does is it basically evens it out so that the shells don't become so overwhelming and you have big valleys and hills in your crocheting. Okay, so then you want to take and skip 2 stitches. So right in the middle of the next shell, you want to single crochet, half double crochet in the next stitch, and then place 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 spaces. But before you do that last one, you want to go ahead and change your yarn again. And really, these yarn changes, I absolutely love them because this is what helps bring out the pattern. It doesn't show up near as much when it's all the same color, especially if you're using dark yarn, but hey, if that's your cup of tea, have at it. So go ahead and place that last double crochet in there. Oops, cut that did that a little too long. So we are going to do that. Okay, pull that tight. There we go. That should be about the perfect length. Okay. So then we're just once again doing that double crochet. Okay, so now basically for the rest of the pattern, you're just going to keep repeating rows number 2 and 3. And you want to do this up until you reach row 19, and then row 20 is just going to be a row of single crochets. So I'll show you guys a couple more rounds and then I'll have you pause the video and keep on going. So for row 4, we are going to chain 1, single crochet into that first stitch, skip 2 stitches, then we are going to put 5 double crochets into that next stitch. So then we want to take and single crochet into the middle of the next one. So skip 2, single crochet, skip 2 stitches, and then do another shell. Once again, before we do that last one, we're going to go ahead and do our yarn change. And if you miss a video on how to do this join, then I will have a link up above for you to click on and learn how to do that. So now we're going to finish up this row, putting one more double crochet in there. Okay, then we are going to single crochet into that last stitch. And now we are going to move on and chain 3 and turn. Remember, we're skipping that first stitch and we're going to double crochet into the second stitch. Then we are going to half double crochet into the next stitch and single crochet into the middle of the previous one. Then we're going to skip 2 stitches and then we're going to put 5 double crochets into that next space. Okay, skip 2 stitches, single crochet into the top of the next shell, half double crochet, double crochet, change your yarn, and this is really a great project to do if you have like a lot of scraps of yarn. The longer that you crochet, the more little odds and ends of yarn that you're going to get. I have a whole big tub full. And then this is really like a leftover yarn eater. So that is always a good thing because then you have something to do with your yarn. Okay, we're going to do that last double crochet to that stitch. Then you're going to chain 1 and turn. For row 6, we're just going to keep on doing what we've been doing. We're going to single crochet into that first stitch, skip 2, double crochet 5 times or make a shell stitch into that next one. Okay, single crochet into the top of the next shell of the previous round. And then skip 2 and do a shell in the next one. Before we do that last stitch, we are going to go ahead and change our yarn color again. Okay, finish that shell and single crochet into that chain. Oops. There. Okay, single crochet. All right. So now we are going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Ooh, turn again. Get more yarn here. Okay. Then we are going to put a double crochet into the second stitch, half double crochet, then single crochet, skip 2, 5 double crochets into that same stitch. Skip 2 stitches, then we're going to single crochet, half double. Oops. Put 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and then once again you're going to change your yarn. And then finish with a double crochet into that last stitch. Alright, so I'm going to stop right here and go ahead and pause the video and finish your rows up until row 19. When we come back, we'll do our last row, which is row 20, and then I'll show you how to make the edges even. Alright, so I will see you in just a moment. Okay, so now that I have just finished row 19, we are going to finish up with the last row. And the last row is just going to be single crochets. So you want to take and chain 1. Now as you can see, I did not change the yarn for this last row, because if you remember for the first row, we did the single crochets and then just kept the same yarn before going into the shelf stitches. So now that we've chained 1, we're just going to single crochet across this entire row. So we have officially finished our bookmark. So now you might wonder, because one side, at least one side of your project is going to be all crazy over here and have different knots. So we are actually going to go ahead and crochet a border around it. So for that, we are just going to single crochet, we're just going to chain 1, and in each corner you're going to put you're going to put 3 single crochets in that stitch, and that will help make it a nice square corner. Then everywhere else you're just going to put 1 single crochet in each of the stitches. This gives it a nice finished look. And if you got off a stitch or 2, then this will really help cover it up as well. Okay, so as you can see, I'm now in this corner. So I'm just going to go ahead and do 3 single crochets into that corner before continuing on down this other side. Then I'm actually going to take and move this yarn over here because we are going to sew in this while we continue crocheting our border. So you just want to lay that down, and then just want to lay that down close to the project and then just work over it. That will save you a step of having to sew this piece in. Alright, so I'm here in another corner, so do another 3 single crochets. Okay, now I'm going to move down this long side, and you can already see how nice and even, and you can't see the knots on this side here. Okay, so we are in the corner again, so we want to do 3 single crochets. And then we are going to finish here. Okay, and that last stitch you want to slip stitch into it, and then you can cut your yarn and pull through. And congratulations, you've just finished crocheting your bookmark. Now I know what you're going to say, Jasmine, it looks wonky, it's not even remotely rectangle. Well, in the next video I'm going to show you how to block it. What's blocking, you ask? I'm so glad you asked. I guess you gotta stay tuned to find out. See you next time.